Welcome to Season 4 of Grieving Common. You're listening to different voices from the Winston Swish youth team.
We're a group of grieving young people who are helping to shape the future of grief support.
We're all different, but we've all got grief in common. If you're aged 13 or over, this podcast is suitable for you.
Winston Swish is a charity that supports children and young people who are bereaved or facing the death of someone important to them. And this podcast is our space to talk honestly about what that feels like.
We'll be sharing our ideas, experiences and conversations that we hope will help you feel less alone. If you'd like to help us keep this going, you can donate at winstonswish.org. Thank you.
In this episode of Grief in Common, we talk about suicide, depression, chronic illness, grief and death.
Welcome back to Grief in Common. I'm Abigail and I lost my sister when I was 13 years old. You may have seen me before on the podcast, but today I'm joined with Toby and we are going to talk about grieving as a part of the LGBTQ+ community. Toby, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Toby, I'm 20. I lost my dad when I was 14 and my grandma's when I was 18, both to suicides. You might have seen me on a few episodes of the podcast previously. The first question that we have to discuss is, did your person know about your identity and how does that feel for you?
So my sister passed away when I was 13 and it wasn't until maybe a year later, I think, that I started to question it. Maybe a bit more than that, actually. Coming out story shortened, I got a crush on a friend. It's stereotypical. That friend doesn't know. But I then got a girlfriend and I came out by saying I had a girlfriend and I was 15. So, yeah, no, she didn't know. When I came out to my grandparents first because I grew up with them. They were like my parents. My mum knows that I think that. That won't insult her. And they had like one of the worst reactions. Same with my mum. Same with my dad, actually. And my brother was 9, so he didn't really know. So I did used to think, like, would my sister have been okay with it? I mean, for all I know, she could have had a different sexuality herself. She was 27 when she died, but she lived in Liverpool and we didn't really have communication. That we had was either through cards or through messages through my mum. It was always one of those things where I was like, I can't wait until I'm older and then I can speak to my sister like, you know, other people have older sibling relationships. I kind of wish that like she did know. I mean, I can't wish that I found out I was gay a bit earlier, but maybe just like another point of view from a sibling and someone who's older, and also someone who's more from like our generation who tend to be more okay with identity and sexuality. This is me assuming that she would have given a good reaction. She could have absolutely not, and then it been added to it. But it's one of those things where like you're never gonna know.
Yeah.
Yeah, did your persons know or not?
My friend did. My dad didn't. He died like literally 2 weeks after my 14th birthday. And I think the fact that it was a suicide made me like step back and like really look at myself and like kind of think more about who I was. And so I think I might have been 15, like kind of same age as you when I figured it out. But it did also take my sibling coming out as well for me to be like, oh, okay, like that's something that I can do as well. But yeah, my friend, she was a few years older than me. She was in her 20s when she passed away. And I remember, do you know the Way Widowed and Young charity?
I think I've heard of it before.
Yeah, we had a group chat of like a bunch of like teenagers, young adults. And I remember messaging that group chat being like, hey, just letting everyone know, changing my name, changing my pronouns. And they were all lovely about it. But then my friend gave me a little like separate message and was just like, oh, hey pal, just let you know, like, I'm really proud of you and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I don't know, because it was nice having, like, knowing that she knew, but then it's also bittersweet because my dad didn't. And it's kind of like she reacted well, and like my sibling and my mom reacted well, but then I'll never know my dad's stance. Like, I can't imagine he'd have like a negative reaction to that. He's a very chill guy. But yeah.
I think it's like, I always find with grief in any circumstances is like the permanence of it. Sounds really deep, but like, you will never know, because as much as I like to think sometimes in my head, I'm not in some TV show simulation where anything can happen and people can just pop back up and you know, like, try out different scenarios. But people say like, oh yeah, like, life moves on and you just get on with it as such. But it's really hard to forget about those little things that you didn't experience and try to come to terms with the fact that you're not going to get to. Which I think as well, like, it being Suicide Prevention Month at the moment, and both of us have lost people to suicide, one of the things is everyone's like, what's the saying? Permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah.
Which, not entirely sure how much I agree with the temporary problem. Half of it. But yeah, the permanence of it, I think losing someone to suicide, it just adds a whole different factor into like everything else. This like may stray off entirely different, but after my sister passed away, I became like really depressed. She died 2 weeks after her birthday. I don't know, I just have these weird like little thoughts of, okay, well, depression runs in the family, that's how she died, that's like, is that basically how I'm gonna die? And my friendship group at school, we were all in a similar boat. We all had some type of like depression or anxiety. So we weren't around like the best people in that situation in terms of we were all in the same boat. But it also paid off because we all understood each other.
Yeah.
So then mix that with when I started to figure out my like identity, nearly everyone else in my friend group was at the same time, which was a little bit strange. But yeah, I came out with saying I had a girlfriend, and then in that friendship group, people were like, oh my god, yeah, me too. Like, I was feeling like this, and I was thinking that, and it was a massive coming out. Bit weird. At the same time.
The next question is, how have you found people you can relate to with both your grief and your identity? And for me personally, I've got my sibling, because we're both on like the non-binary spectrum and we're both queer. It's been nice having someone quite close to me who we've gone through the same grieving process with our dad. We'd like gone through the same kind of like confusion among like all the grief, and then realizing you might be queer, and so we can relate with that. I've also got a friend from Way who I met, I think about 5 years ago now. We first started talking, and she's queer as well, and so it's just kind of like nice having people that you're close to who we don't necessarily always like talk about like grieving and being queer, but like, you know, that you've got someone there who knows like the confusion and like all the processes you've gone through to kind of like get to those points in your identity.
Yeah, no, I think I was sat here whilst you're talking trying to think of anyone like physically in my life. Like, I connect with a lot of people through social media. I think a lot of that as well stemmed from like when I was 15, I was bedbound through my illnesses. I made quite a lot of like online friendships with a lot of people that are in similar situation, more so that they are queer and they have like chronic health conditions. And then once you get talking, there's usually like, it's not uncommon for them to have lost someone
Yeah.
as well, and then you can talk about that.
Yeah, it's nice having people online as well.
Yeah.
I've got so many people that I've spoken to, mainly from Way. I keep going back to that. But there were quite a few people in the group chat who are queer. And it's just like nice knowing that you've got people, whether they're like in your house or down the street or just you can send them a message. It's just nice knowing that there's someone who's there to understand you and like help you deal with all these like crazy emotions.
I think as well with like friendships online, they're so low maintenance that they just work. I mean, I have one friend, bless her, we go ages, like months more without talking. We'll reply to each other's story occasionally. But when it's like my sister's birthday and anniversary, they both fall in May. It's a really awful month. To the point where when me and my girlfriend were like talking about when's an acceptable time to like get together, I was like, you're not allowed to ask me in May. I know it'll be a positive thing, but it can't happen in May. So she didn't. But yeah, this one friend, they will always message and be like, hey, I hope you're doing okay. Like, I know this is a tough time for you. So proud of you, blah, blah, blah. And all the soppy stuff. But we don't talk otherwise, but it's always there. And I think I have that with like quite a few people. That makes me sound like I have loads of friends on that. I do not. But like there's quite a few people where it'll be the odd message and the friendship stays. Most of the time, most of those people are because they're going through their own grief. They're going through their own like chronic illness, personally, on my experience. So we know that like our brains aren't always up to constant communication or messaging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about how like, you have the anniversary and her birthday in May, and it just made me think about how in the month of June I've got my birthday, Pride Month, and then the anniversary of my dad's death, which all piled up together equals to a lot of complex emotions. Because on one hand, it's Pride Month, so I'm celebrating like my queer identity and like that I'm comfortable within myself. But then on the other hand, it's like being sad about my dad on the anniversary, and also the fact that he wasn't here when I discovered my identity and when I kind of came to those revelations. Like my friend always asks me about if I'm going to legally change my name, but my dad gave me my name, and so that's something that I'm attached to, and so, which is why I'm not legally changing it yet. And so yeah, so it's very bittersweet when it comes to like celebrating who I am and like being able to comfortably be myself. But I'm like, well, he didn't know any of that, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah, I never really thought about things like that as well with like birth names, and that's obviously like something that's a part of him still.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know what previous name you have, but is it one that you would like keep as maybe a new middle name? Can you give yourself new middle names?
I have no idea.
Because like no one really needs to know that unless it's an important document or you want to tell people.
Exactly. I always have so many mixed emotions because it's just such like a wild mix of them. Grief in itself is already complicated enough to try and work through.
With the dates of everything that happens in June, does it feel like your emotions just go like up, down, roller coaster?
Yeah.
Why did they?
It's like his birthday the month before, then my birthday, and then like all the little like pride celebrations, and then at the end of the month, the anniversary of his death. And so it is very much like up and down like the entire time. And then it gets to July and I'm like, thank God I could breathe.
Similar to what you've just said, but we said at the start as well about whether our like person knew about our identity. When you came out, did your mum have the reaction of, yeah, I kind of guessed, or I could tell, or did she say that she had any kind of inkling about it in the years prior?
I came out by making a joke, just like on a whim, because for some reason we were talking about like South America and like countries that would be like pretty to go to there. And I was like, well, don't think I can go to any of those because it'd be kind of illegal. And my mum was like, what? Like, she was kind of confused. I don't know if my joke just kind of caught her off guard. But no, I think my sibling might have had a little inkling. My mum, really don't think she did. I've never actually asked her about that. But yeah, none of my other family members like caught on either. Do you have like any similar experiences with that?
I mean, I think still a couple years later, my family didn't really believe it. I kind of got the reaction of, it's a phase, you'll be
yeah.
anyone that's listening, this has air quotes, normal in 4 years' time. I don't know why 4 years was what I was given, but I'm past that now. It's been about 6. Definitely not changing. But yeah, no, I don't know. My grandparents are quite like Christian. I don't really like the term old fashioned, but my grandma had the reaction of, you'll be normal in 4 years. And my granddad just actually like physically turned away from me. Wouldn't look at me, wouldn't talk to me, nothing, which was like the absolute worst because I grew up basically at my grandparents'. Like that was from when I was a baby at like 7 a.m. in the morning till 7 at night. They did the school, the nursery, like everything. And I was like so excited to be like, this is how I feel. And I think having a friendship group at school where some people were already out, I didn't necessarily feel like I had to stay in the closet.
Yeah.
Such. So yeah, I was like super excited to tell them. Kind of backfired in my face a little bit. It took them a while, but they're good now. There was a few like girlfriends I've had since, they're friends. And I'm like, girlfriend, grandma? Yes, how'd your friend do it? No, not like trying to backtrack conversations. Yeah, no, my mum didn't have any inkling of it. My dad didn't. My dad was more chill, to be fair. I think when like I came out and stuff, I feel like I have a faint memory of me wanting to tell my sister and like wishing. And I did have her phone number still. So it's on my old phone. Like I don't think I'd be able to find the messages now, but there's probably a chance that I messaged her saying,
yeah,
this is like what's happening. But yeah, this is an entirely different, it doesn't really link to LGBT because whatever at all. But did you, obviously you said your dad died when you were 14. Did you have a phone when you were 14?
Yes. I did, yeah, like a brick.
I don't know if anyone else really did this, but I used to like still text my sister's phone. I wouldn't ring it. I was too scared that someone would pick it up if I run it. But I used to text it. I remember I used to go to the bathrooms at school and just kind of, I don't know why. Of course there's not going to be a response, but I was just hoping for something. Did you ever do that? Did you ever like try and communicate with your dad as such?
Yeah, I sent him a few messages, but then like my phone broke or something, or like I got a new one, I don't know, and so they all disappeared because I got a new number. But like I guess it's the same as writing letters to them, because you can like write letters, like write in a journal, things like that, and like obviously they're never going to read them, but it's just kind of the comfort of like you're telling them these things.
Yeah,
like you're writing it all down and it's just kind of addressed to them, so it's like you're actually telling them.
I wrote a letter once, but it was very soon after she died, and it was a very angry letter.
Yeah, done those a few times.
It was a like, how the F did you think that this was a smart idea, basically? Yeah. I think that's one of the other things I found as well with like it being a suicide death, I was and I still am periodically quite angry.
Same.
And I think, I don't know if like people that haven't gone through that situation don't get it, because it's like someone, you know, like they've died, you can't be mad at them. And it's like, I am bloody fuming my letter was quite angry. I do get quite angry about it, mixed with as well, I just laugh about it all the time. Probably so I didn't cry, but who knows?
Similar for me, because the circumstances in which my dad died, it ended up as a news article in like a county like paper.
That's not fun.
Yeah, no. And it's like completely legal, which is wild. Like they just went to the inquest and they were allowed to do that. But he left us a video on his phone to find. And I remember being so annoyed with him. I think it took me about 3 years to actually build up the courage to watch it. And I got so annoyed at him because he told me to keep doing well in school. And I was like, oh my God, you have just, like, you've taken your own life and you're telling me to do well in school? Like, I got so mad at him for that. And obviously, like, he did it when I was in year 9. So I was, like, in the middle of my exams when he left me that message. I didn't see it until a few years later. But I was annoyed at him for kind of the whole circumstances about his death. But that in particular really annoyed me because I was like, oh my God, that's the last thing that I'm going to be focused on when something awful has happened.
God. Losing someone to suicide has, like, it creates this domino effect. And I did my English speaking exam called Domino Effect on it. And it's like, there's so many statistics around there about people having lost someone to suicide, then feeling suicidal themselves. And then the same with LGBTQ youth feeling suicidal because of so many other factors. So if you mix the two together of being a part of the LGBTQ plus community and losing someone to suicide, is a tough path to go down, especially at a young age. With English at school, I think I've spoken about this a few times, like on podcasts and things, but English literature content is highly like graphic and depressing, and there's like so much suicidal talk, even in like the films. Like I remember being made to watch Macbeth because we had to do that for our exams, so I needed to know what was going on.
Yeah.
Why is the content like that? First,
yeah.
Because I don't think I've ever used it in my life since. But also, yeah, trying to navigate school while you're dealing with that. It also doesn't help as well. Like kids at school and teenagers, suicide is a massive joke to everyone.
Yeah.
I think with like some other illnesses and like natural causes, there's usually enough awareness out there for people to know how to behave socially in a situation that surrounds that conversation. When it comes to suicide, like all the jokes of telling people, you know, off themselves as an insult, and it's like you don't actually know what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, just school and teenager years.
And especially being queer in like British secondary schools whilst grieving, that was a whole experience in itself. The school that I went to, it was a bit rough. It wasn't like awful, but like there were very few kids who were openly queer, and those who were, they were like made fun of quite often and like bullied. And it's probably way better now because this was back in like 2019. And so I like came out to my close group of friends, and I think I used my new name kind of near the end of secondary school, and I told them about it, but I wouldn't let them use it like in class or like around other people because, you know, trying to keep myself safe in a kind of horrible environment. Doing that whilst also grieving my dad, that I don't think I actually like think about that enough, but that's kind of a whole complex experience in itself because you're navigating like all these obstacles all at once. It's kind of hard to keep up.
I know of like a few people that have said, I don't have come out in secondary school because of the backlash that they witnessed other people getting. I came out as bi first. And it went round the school before I had even told anyone as such. So like I told one friend that I know of. And then I come into school like the next day, literally the next day, someone had told someone had, you know, been messaging. And I remember my best friend coming up to me and she got quite upset and she was like, why did you not tell me? I was like, not tell you what? And she was like, that you're bi, that you like girls. And I'm like, hold on a second, I've only just figured it out myself. Like, how did you come out through so-and-so? Little things like I kissed like literally just like a like quick nothing with my girlfriend in the school corridors. And it's just you're getting shouted at and you're getting like slurs shouted at you. And it's a big deal. And I'm like, okay, but there's a like, you know, a straight couple or whatever making out outside of a classroom in front of everyone. No one bats an eyelid.
I
but
know.
the second I just hold hands and it's a problem.
It's crazy.
And I feel like queer support in secondary schools, especially like again 2019, didn't really exist.
No. It was being never mentioned.
No. And then the one all of a sudden queer support group that they had was a bunch of students sat around the table in the dance studio. And I'm like, there's no privacy. You've got posters up about it on the door of the room it's happening in as well. If it works for you, it's absolutely great. Did your teachers know?
No, I only came out to my friends and then I rocked up to prom like in a blue flared trousered suit with platform shoes, like big makeup and most of my hair chopped off like shorter than this.
Well, just like last day of school, hair longer, and then
yeah, then I went to prom and that was like completely different.
Oh my gosh. I want to see photos of this. I want to see this.
Yeah, in a minute.
So we have talked a lot about really everything about LGBTQ plus experiences with school, with grief, with our experiences of coming out. And I think it's really good to anyone listening to know that it's queer voices that are describing their experiences and to know that they aren't alone in what they're feeling, or to someone who may be in the process of discovering their identity. I think this is a really important chat that we've had, and I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you as well. It's been like quite nice and comforting on a level to talk to someone who's had like similar experiences in both grief and with like finding your queer identity.
I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
Thanks for listening to Grief in Common. For support, resources, or to donate and help us keep creating, visit winstonswish.org. See you next time.